All right, this story just keeps getting wilder and wilder by the day. The Michigan sign stealing scandal is just providing us with plethora of new content as there's new twists and turns coming out every day. And are the walls potentially starting to close in on head football coach Jim Harbaugh? What an insane story. This is one of the craziest stories we've seen in college football. Maybe the most elaborate and intricate plan ever devised to start cheating in college football. The alleged staffer, Connor Stalions, apparently having a 600-page manifesto, which he updated daily, laying out a blueprint for him and some other staffers to eventually take over the Michigan football program. This is some wild stuff. More and more evidence is coming to light, and it is not looking good for Michigan. But let me make my stance firmly clear right here. I think this is kind of stupid. Everybody steals signs. It's ridiculous. Why don't we have headsets in the helmet? It's because coaches don't really want them in the helmet. They're all stealing signs. Sarkisian's talked about it. Everybody's kind of letting it slide here. Like, yeah, this is kind of what's been going on. People are always trying to steal signs, get an advantage, and the coaches are kind of just whatever about it. They aren't really up in arms, because if they were up in arms, this problem would have gotten fixed. We would have moved to headsets in the helmets. And it's so stupid that we have the same set of rules for like shitty little schools that can't really afford it to University of Michigan type schools that are bringing in $250 million a year. We should have a different set of rules, but ultimately we needed a governing body, a single entity, a commissioner of college football to take charge, work these things out. I think this is a dumb rule why you can't go ahead and scout your future opponents. Just so stupid to begin with. But speaking of that, it is against the rule. There is a rule on the books. It's a 30-year-old rule. That's an alleged violation. And using apparently equipment to film said signs is another bylaw investigation. But this story is getting crazy. So the alleged staffer, Connor Stalions, has been confirmed to have purchased 30-plus tickets to Big Ten games and 12 of the 13 stadiums, buying seats right across from opposing teams' benches within range where you can see the signs. There are now schools cooperating with the investigation with video surveillance from the stadiums that are on the seats, and apparently the person sitting in the seats is holding up a cell phone for the majority of the game, pointed directly at the sidelines. This stuff is crazy, and I can't believe it. Not only was he buying tickets for Big Ten schools, he was scouting out potential college football playoff opponents for Michigan. He bought tickets to the Tennessee game directly after they had just beaten Alabama. They ranked number 3 in the country. Bought it right across from the Tennessee bench, right where you can see, directly transferred it to another person. He bought it with his own credit card. Crazy. Like, we have a full paper trail. He was buying these tickets with his own credit card. Also, similarly, did it with Oregon versus Washington last year. Oregon was number 15, and directly transferred it to somebody else. Bought tickets to the SEC championship game in 2021 and 2022. You can imagine what he was doing with that. This is just crazy. So we have this full paper trail. It seems like he clearly did it. And some people have even talked about it. We have this leak from a Tennessee Volunteers forum of all places. This guy talking, I got a story. One of his friends, a scout, they paid him to travel to the UT Vandy game. And then it was before Tennessee lost, try and steal signals, all this stuff. He's from Nashville, still went to the game, but they're not directly allowed to talk to Harbaugh. That's a big key here. So there can't be directly linked to Harbaugh. Harbaugh's not in charge of this. He's not doing any of this. This is all rogue actors, plausible deniability, which is a really big thing when it comes to college football. Don't ask, don't tell. It's one of those situations. But we have evidence here. They're talking about how the alleged staffer was on the sidelines. It's not been him. He's been having other people go to these games. He's right here holding this large stack of white cards near the play callers. Convenient. What's on these cards? Could be plays. Could it be the other team's signals? We have lots of other photos of him. Here's him again, right next to the offensive coordinator, telling him what the defensive signals are. It's all circumstantial, obviously, but there's a lot of stuff here. We got him right next to the coaches, right where he could be making calls and stuff like that. So it's crazy to think about. We have this guy who's doing all this, and then we find out that he's openly bragged about this. Sports Illustrated had text messages that he sent to another person trying to get into college football, that he has all this stuff planned out, openly bragging about doing this stuff, that he was stealing signals. He would do it watching games. How does this play into his background? He went to the Naval Academy. So this guy's a former Marine, went to the Naval Academy, and he said his specialty is identifying weaknesses, scouting people out, figuring out flaws in plans. So maybe he's this big kind of code breaker guy, and he kind of seems like a sociopath. I'm not going to lie. This guy seems out of his mind. He's doing all this stuff, bragging about it. And his dream, his ultimate dream, was to be a great head football coach. He got into Michigan apparently, but he chose the Naval Academy because great coaches like Bo Schembechler and Bill Belichick have ties to the service academies or the military. So he wanted to have that on his background. And then they find this Google Doc, this 600, 500 page sheet that he called the Michigan Manifesto, where he was keeping tabs, laying out a blueprint, how he would ultimately eventually take over as the head coach of the University of Michigan. Some people may say that's driven on all about writing down your goals, but this is sociopath stuff. This guy seems like he's out of his mind here. Now, he has been suspended with pay by the program as the investigation has gotten underway, and Michigan says they're fully cooperating. Head coach Jim Harbaugh is fully cooperating, but there is a sharp contrast between Harbaugh's record from 2015 to 2020 to 2021 to 2022. There's a big jump. He's a sub 500 coach before then. Now he's one of the best teams and coaches in the country. There could be a direct correlation here, but like I said, it feels like most people, most top schools are doing this. Now, are they doing it to the extent that it seems like this guy was doing? I don't think so. But like I said, this guy seems like a loose cannon. He's kind of all over the place, like really kind of sociopathic, like, I have this plan. I'm going to take over the Michigan football program. Here's how I'm going to do it. I'm getting into good graces. I'm going to start stealing signals. We're going to use that to leverage myself with a job. Just a wild story. One of the craziest you'll see in college football. And I know more is going to come out. We have a paper trail. We're going to have video surveillances from things. And are we going to take a deeper dive into other programs now? Because once one team gets snitched on, if this is going on, everybody better start burning the records, because then all the loose lips are going to start sinking those ships with all the other major college football programs. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Are you on Harbaugh's side? Is he innocent? Are you against it? Should they fire him? Should Michigan be banned from the postseason? They're undefeated. It looks like they're moving towards a Big Ten championship game, at least a matchup with Ohio State for that in a possible playoff run. This is a wild story. I cannot wait to see how this unfolds more. Again, like this video, subscribe to the channel if not already. If you want to support the channel more, click that join button. Channel memberships gives you access to lots of cool perks, early content, exclusive content. Help support me. Keep making these great videos for you guys every single day. Again, like, subscribe, and share, and I'll see y'all tomorrow.